Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the second video, so if you haven't watched the first video yet, go back and watch the first video. Okay, our next question is angle ABE adjacent to angle FBE? And explain. This question refers back to this figure, the figure with A, B, C, D, E, and F to represent all of our different angles. The angles it asks us about are ABE and FBE. ABE, FBE. Are those two angles adjacent? I want you to pause the video for a moment and answer this question on your own. Now that you've answered that question, let's go over it. Angle ABE, is angle ABE adjacent to angle FBE? The correct answer to this question would be no. Because even though they do have the same side, adjacent angles do not overlap. If you go back and look at it, you'll see that angle FBE is inside of angle ABE. So they are not adjacent. Let's move on to figure A. With figure A, we need to solve for the value of x. Notice we have our two intersecting lines. So with figure A, we see that the angles are what kind of angles? The angles are what kind of angles? Angles are vertical. Vertical angles, we know, are also congruent angles. So the angles have the same measure. They have the same measure. We saw that yesterday too when we looked at our vertical angles and we looked at our we looked at our adjacent angles. These two we see are our vertical angles straight across. So our vertical angles are also congruent angles. Therefore, x is the same as the one across from it, which is 70 degrees. Now B. B we see is a right angle. Think to yourself, how many degrees make up a right angle? I'm going to keep looking at figure B to answer the following questions. These angles here share a common side and have the same vertex, so they are what kind of angles? Please pause the video and fill that in. Good, you should have had excuse me, that they are adjacent angles. The angles make up a right angle, so the sum is going to be 90 degrees, because we know that anything that has this little box in the corner is 90 degrees. It's a right angle. So we're going to solve for x. We can use what we know now to solve for x. We need to set these two to be added together to equal 90 degrees. So we're going to write in 31 plus x plus 4 equals 90. Please take a moment to pause the video and solve this problem. Welcome back. Now we're going to go over this video. Go over this problem. We have 31 plus x plus 4. We know with addition that we can move these around. The order does not matter. So we have 31 plus 4 plus x equals 90. The first thing we're going to do is do the inverse, or we're going to combine our like terms. We're going to combine our like terms, which are 31 and 4. So we're going to get 35 plus x equals 90. Now we're going to do the inverse of this. We see that this is a positive. If this helps you too, please draw in your lines so you can keep them equal and separated. This is not 3.5, this is 35. But now we do the inverse of what we see here. The inverse of positive 35 is going to be negative 35. I'm going to subtract that out to make our 0. Now over here we're also going to subtract out 35. 90 minus 35. Show your work. 9 turns into an 8. This turns into a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. You're going to have x equals 55 degrees. Make sure to write that in on the line. If they provide a line, you should put it on the line. Now please turn the page. Constructing angles. When we construct angles, we draw a ray. The endpoint will become the vertex. Make sure to line up. I'm going to go through this quickly because we went over it yesterday. Make sure to line up the center of the protractor, so the center, with the vertex. Some of you refer to that as an endpoint. You'll hear it worded both ways. So you should have ray, vertex, center, and vertex/endpoint. The ray you created should be on the 0 degree mark. 0 degree mark of the protractor. Next, make a mark at the number you want to measure to. So if it's 70 degrees, you're going to make a mark at the 70 degrees. Take the straight edge and connect the mark to the vertex. Sorry, to the endpoint. Like I said, they can be used interchangeably depending on if you have a ray or if you have an angle. Now I would like you to try the following two problems on your own. Draw a pair of vertical angles with a measure of 40 degrees. The first step you're going to do is use a protractor to draw a 40-degree angle. Use a straight edge to extend the sides to form two intersecting lines. Please pause the video and work on your problems. So using a protractor, you need to measure out your 40-degree angle. Make sure you mark it just like this. Then you're going to use a straight edge. Now Mrs. Wensley doesn't have 3 hands, so I'm not going to use a straight edge. I want you to use a straight edge and extend the sides to form intersecting lines. So you're going to extend this one out here, and you're going to extend this one out here. So this measure should also be 40 degrees because of what we know about vertical angles. Because of what we know about straight angles, you should be able to figure out what goes here and here. I would like you to now try the on your own section, tell whether the angles are adjacent or vertical, then determine the value of x. Do this for 3, 4, and 5, and then do number 6 as well, please. Draw a pair of vertical angles with the measure of 75 degrees.